real talk, real issues. Imagine Me TV. I am your host, Arthy Lawrence, and I am so delighted to be here tonight. Oh, I feel like I haven't been here for a long time, but a lot has happened. But I give God praise, and I want you guys, even before we dip into anything, I want you to share this video. I want you to share this live. Tag your friends, tag your cousin. This is a discussion that we're gonna have on talking about mental issues and different issues that we face. And if you know there's someone that you know that needs to hear that sister, that brother, the mother, the in-laws, please tag them in it. You can send them the YouTube link. You can send them to Imagine Me TV on YouTube, Roku, Amazon Fire, LiveUR, TDN Network, any one of those platforms they can get it. So when I'm gonna read Miss Sophia's a little bit about her, and we'll have a commercial break after that, and you guys will have at least a couple minutes to invite everyone that you can. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone that tunes in one Sunday after another, all the way. We have Italy, we have even Russia. I hope they're not spying on us, but we are Dominica, Barbados, St. Lucia, Trinidad, even the French Guadeloupe. Let's see where again, France, New York, all over the world that we've had everyone watching us. And the other news I want to give you guys, very soon we're going to be streaming in a station in the islands, Antigua. So we're going to have more information on that for you guys. So I just want to say thank you. I do not take your time lightly, that you take the time to come out on a Sunday evening and, chill out with us and watch the Imagine Me TV channel. So I just want to say thank you very much. So I'm going to read a little bit about my guest today, Sophia Gethers, master's level mental health counselor, intern, who works with individuals like me. That's why, guys, I'm straight. She put me straight. Couples and families who struggle with life-controlling issues. She has a passion for people and for helping them find healing and hope for the future. Sophia respects everyone's journey, and she believes that compassion, respect, and sensitivity are all crucial in building a healthy therapeutic relationship. A therapeutic approach is integrative and based on her client's specific needs. Everyone's circumstances and situations are different, so her plan would be tailored to you and your goals. Most people want to be heard, validated, and not judged while working through their challenges. That's very true. Sophia prides herself on listening and being a guiding force to help teens, individual couples, and families get to a healthy space. It is the beginning of the healing process. Life struggles can be overwhelming and challenging. It takes a lot of courage to share and trust someone with your innermost intimate issues. That's the word from Miss Sophia. I have a personal relationship with her. I'm telling you, everything that I just read there, it's true, and 100% more that we can add to it. So it is, like I said, go ahead and invite everyone that you can invite. We're going to go into a quick commercial break. When we come back, the fabulous Miss Sophia, guys, she's a counselor, but she's fabulous too. She's beautiful. She knows how to dress. And, I'm going to save that for later. But so, guys, go ahead, invite someone. And once you come back, we'll be here. We're ready to go with the show. We are back. Real talk, real issues, real life. And today we are definitely going to be talking about some real issues. Um, so, once again, thank you. And if you haven't invited someone, go ahead and invite them. We're going to jump right into the questions because I find out that every time we try to have a show, we answer like 5 questions. So, but I just love for you coming back. And I want to tell you, first of all, thank you for coming on the show again. You're one of my favorite, what we call you? Oh man, I honestly I have not drank anything. I think someone might have spiked my mangoes or something, but anyway, one of my favorite guests. You know, I'm just very excited that you're there. So it's just a blessing to have you, and I know you're super busy. So taking the time to come here and be on the show is just a blessing. And I know you didn't just come to be on the show. I know you have a passion and a love for people. And the reason you're here is both of us is so that we can help our community. We can help our family. We can help our church, especially the church. But yes, I think the church is going to say, man, she's always hard on us. But I have to be hard on the church because the world is looking at us.
Absolutely.
You know, so welcome.
Thank you.
So what's going on? How is your day going and stuff like that? How is Reggie treating you?
Oh, lovely. But first of all, thank you.
Did he pay you to say that?
No, not this time.
Are you going to pay? Okay. I was going to want a portion of that too.
No. He didn't pay me this time.
No, that's my brother.
The tab add up eventually.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having me, Arthy. It's always a privilege to be on your show. You're one of my dearest friends too.
Yes.
You know, we share a lot of entrepreneur,
Yes.
same goals and dreams. So thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that's the thing, and it's one thing that you and I always talk about is empowering each other, even as women, because even with the group that you had with the women where we all come together and empower each other, because you find a lot of times there's competition and women trying to stab each other, about each other. And so that is one thing that we love to do together. And I know we're going to get that group going again, but we're going to jump right into it. So my first question, and I'm sure our viewers want to know, we've known each other for a few years. Do you remember how we met?
Ooh, I think it was at a church event.
A lot of meeting everybody at church. I need to meet too. So
I don't know.
Yeah, and I was trying to remember too. Okay, so we're gonna figure it out.
I think it was a church.
It had to be in
event.
church.
Yeah, maybe through a life group or something.
Oh yeah, I think it was the life group. And there, if there was there food there, if there was food, then
we met that way.
Yes.
Where there's food, there's everybody.
Yeah. It was. Oh, and there might be a reason why we don't want to remember it. The place that we met.
Oh, that too.
So you know what? Now we know we met. We're just gonna leave it there. Oh, but yeah, it was just it was such a blessing because you both you and Reggie embraced us, and I remember even after we met, we came to your house and I think it was a Bible study. It was something that was going on. It was something but it was supposed to be really short. And I think after that we were there like for hours and hours.
Yes.
It's
about 2:00 that morning.
Yeah, it was amazing, and that's what I really like, just having friends that are authentic or sisters that are authentic, that just like my home is your home, and you just hang out, have a good time, and we just encourage and empower each other, So, but from the time we met, we just clicked, and it seemed like we've been friends for like 10 years. It's been like it's a long time, but I really value your friendship. I value you as a friend, as a sister in Christ, and as a professional as well. So you've really been there for me. And what I like about it, like sometimes people become your friends or they're there for yourself because maybe there might be something in it for them. But if with you, it was just like you just love helping people, and you show that to both Hadley and I. And even my daughter, just so nice. And I just appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's go. You wear a lot of hats: mom of 2 active kids, an amazing husband. See, he did pay me to say that one. I put it out there. You better give me. How do you get the money? Okay. Business, church, your job, and you still make time for friends and extended family. How do you do all of that? Just tell us a little more about your family, the kids.
It's it's something I really can't explain. It's almost like supernatural power that God gives me. I give more of myself than I sometimes give to my own self. Well, excuse me, give to others more than I give to myself. And I had to really dissect that a lot because I was pouring out a lot. And it was like I was dispersing all of my energy to everybody, but I wasn't getting any back. So when COVID hit, it gave me the chance to reanalyze my goals.
Okay.
And what I did is my whole family just put God first. Okay,
Yes.
we reorchestrated our daily routine, and instead of putting God second, third, and fourth, we stopped, we paused, we now put Him first because without Him, we wouldn't be here.
Very good. Yeah.
So we changed that. My daughter saw the impact. She gave her life to Christ, and she recently
she
got
got
baptized.
Yes.
Recently, yes.
Congratulations! I saw that. Like, yes.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's 16. You know, we
Yeah,
didn't beg her. It was her choice.
That's amazing.
That's
choice. Amazing.
And,
wow.
She always say, "Mommy, why you always crying? And why you always telling my business?" Like, kid, you have no idea how this make a parent feel.
I'm
to know
telling
that
you,
your child wants to follow Christ,
yes.
and you're not begging her.
And you did not push her.
I didn't force her. I didn't push her. It was her choice.
That's amazing, though.
And she gets up. She reads her Bible every morning, every night. You know, she heard this. She was so angry at me, but I love it because this is her choice. It's not my choice. It's one thing in forcing your kid to do something, and then for them having the desire to do it
on their own. Yeah, you know that's real. Yeah,
exactly. So, COVID for us changed our family dynamic. And when I say that, it changed for the good. My husband and I relationship had gotten better. My son, you know, he doesn't care. As long as you get him McDonald's sometimes and pizza, he's fine. He's one of those kids. He's easy to please. But soccer with him is very time consuming. But it allowed us to bring family back.
Yeah.
Eating some dinners at the table. Having conversations without the cell phone. Actually talking to our kids and actually talking about what they're going through, and let alone my husband and I spending more time with each other. So once I realized that due to COVID, yes, the friendships and all of that stuff kind of deceased for a minute, but I never stopped calling people. I never stopped checking on people. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes that did take a dip because, you know, I was at the end of finishing school. That was my main priority.
But you did a lot because I remember you, while COVID was going on, you were going to different homes, like what, it was 30 or 32 homes given, bringing stuff for people because, you know, I was one of the recipients too. So,
my husband and I were blessed to feed about 200-300 people during the time frame of COVID. I hit the streets sometimes by myself. I had a friend that went out and we just rode through the neighborhoods and just gave food away. And, you know, it was very impactful for me because I didn't want COVID to make me feel like I still couldn't serve people. So that was one way that I was able to do that. And a lot of families were blessed, you know, during that time. So, you know, God gave us the grace to do that. I finally graduated from school so that, you know, it's a little load off. But my passion is still helping people. So that never stops. So with that being said, I wear a lot of hats. And I don't do things to please people. I do things to please God.
Yes.
And in that, He gives me the strength to do it.
That's good. That's good.
You know? And I often tell people that I don't do the religious thing. I do a relationship with God. And there's a difference.
Right. Yeah.
It's a major difference when you no longer allow what people's expectations and rules in churches to cause you to sway. You have a relationship with Christ.
That is really... That's a good point because, you know, you have some people that will say, well, you know what, I'm doing so much in church and this person is not doing, like you look on the other person.
Absolutely.
That's between them and God. And I may have been guilty of that to some because you feel like, oh, I'm doing it and then this person is not doing. But then we have to come to realize, you know what, that's between us and God. That's our relationship. We're not just serving the church. When we serve God. When we serve other people, we're serving God, you know, just out in the even in the secular part as well. And if you do it as unto God, He's the one that's going to reward you. Plus, you're not doing it to get a reward. You're doing it because, you know what, you have a relationship, you know, it's just like you have a relationship with your children, with your
Mm-hmm.
husband. You know what? You do it because you love them. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And just as God loved us, He wants us to be a help to others and not to hinder
yes,
them or cause them to slumber. So if I can't help you, I'd rather keep my distance from you
yeah.
because I don't want to be that person who's out to hurt someone. If I can't show unconditional love, I'll keep my distance until I learn.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
know?
and then it's no sense. You pretending like you know what,
Absolutely.
because when you start reaching out to people and you make them feel like, what, I care, you can depend on me. There are people that are looking for that,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you're not genuine about it,
Mm-hmm.
you can really let them down, especially
Yes.
someone that's hurting spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
That can cause them, to pull back. So it's just,
Absolutely.
do the best that you can, and
Yes.
what you can do, you can't please everybody,
Absolutely.
you know. But even as you mentioned COVID, and I thought COVID would be gone by now.
It's still
COVID
lingering.
really, it's changed a lot of people's lives,
Mm-hmm.
but it's helped a lot of people too. So, and I know we might talk about it a little more. So,
Mm-hmm.
but so let's go, because you did mention just a little bit about it. But just recently, you graduated with another degree. Can you tell us more about it? And congratulations again. I'm very proud of you, because I know
Thank
to
you.
get a degree with everything that was going on, that's a lot. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes. Yes. Thank God I made it through. Hallelujah. Yes.
Yes.
But it was a journey. I put myself on fast track. It's supposed to be a 2 year program. Well, a year and a half. I think I finished just a year and a couple of months.
Yeah, you did it. Yeah, because I was like, wait, she's done?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't take any time off.
that's
Reason
good.
being is I know me.
Mhm.
I didn't want to get complacent.
Yeah, you'd be like, me, let me see, I think I'm
Yeah.
taking 6 years off.
Yes. Some people like taking pauses, but I know
Yeah,
me.
it's not a good
Pausing
idea.
wasn't a good idea for me. So
Yeah.
it was strenuous, time consuming, lost a lot of sleep, but I reached the end. I
Yeah,
reached my
praise
goal.
God. Yes.
And my goal
It feels
was
so good.
to become a mental health professional counselor. And that's
Yes.
what my master's is in. I also have some certification in anger management. I'm also a certified master life coach. Um, I have wear many hats with certification, so many that I really can't even
Okay.
name them all. Okay.
But I think it's just it's something. I was so happy when you told me you were going to go to school for counseling, because remember we talk about it,
Mhm.
just go, and you already have that natural talent. It's already in you, where you help people, and you have that discernment as well. So it's almost like God just bring it all together, and you just get the certification, the degree, because you need that to work in the secular world. But I truly believe that is something that God had already prepared you for, and you just
Yes.
had to take the step, because we did celebrate recovery together, and
Yes.
just different things, and it was just, I mean, I see you in action in different arenas, different places, and each time you just fit like perfectly right in there. Because sometimes I'll be like, man, that's not how I would handle this. And you just like handle it like really well. I was like, oh, I would tell him, come on, sit down, stop. And you just handle it so professionally. So it is a natural gift. And I know that anybody that will start become your clients, they're gonna be truly blessed. They're gonna be
Yes.
truly blessed. So, because I know we've truly been blessed, by you. So, okay, so we're gonna keep on going. How did you become involved in counseling, and has this been like a lifelong desire? That's like a three-part question. What was your motivation to become involved?
Whew, I can sum that up very well. A lot of hurt provoked me to go back to school to become a
Yeah.
counselor. Um, to the people who don't know me, I was raised in church, um, preacher's kid. That was life. You had no choice. You had to go to
Yeah.
church.
Yeah.
So as a child, I knew I had a touch of something. I was just never taught what it was or how to use it.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, I always had vivid dreams, and those
Oh, wow.
dreams will always come true. It would be of wanting someone, or it would be of something that was about to happen. And sometimes it would shake me because I didn't understand what it was.
Okay.
So a lot of times I kept it to myself. As I got older, I started to tell people about my dreams, and sometimes it didn't go so well.
I know about some of those.
Yes. So through the process of me learning, my growth in church, I experienced a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I believe that church should be a place where we extend love, passion, and to treat others as we want to be treated. But sometimes it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
We say things to hurt people because it's our own truth or it's your own personal conviction.
Yes.
Just because it's your personal conviction doesn't mean that it's the next person's conviction.
Or you can put it on someone.
Or you can put it onto someone. So if you just don't understand that person, sometimes just wait until you have the right moment to express yourself and not make that person feel like the ground you walk on. Sometimes we don't understand that. So I experienced a lot of church hurt, my own little personal things, trying to figure out my own identity, and got married to my husband and moved to New York, and that was a different total world.
New York is a whole different world.
Oh my goodness! They can say you can take the girl out the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. It was a transition for me adjusting to New York. So that was another thing. Feeling like a part of was another thing. So that whole transition, I got bullied in school. A lot of other things happened in my life that pretty much grabbed root to me. And it caused my character to be someone else's character, but it really wasn't me. So that whole time, everything is adding up, which is called baggage.
Yeah.
Okay? Baggage was created through my life as I got older. And at that time, my husband and I was having a lot of issues in our relationship because we kept bumping heads because, he was apostolic, I was Pentecostal, and those rules and regulations in the church just made us bump heads. Why? When we served the same God. I couldn't quite understand it. Religion.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do religion, because it was a battle within my own household. And I was like, this is not God. This is not God. Why should this be this way? So I went through that whole transition, and one of my sweet friends, I celebrated her birthday with her this weekend. She had presented to me that, there's a boot camp. Okay, tell me more about this boot camp. At first, to be honest, I was a little resistant because in the Black culture and in church, you don't need to talk to a counselor. You don't need to get therapy. You just need to pray. I beg to differ. We need a little more than prayer.
Yeah.
Okay?
I believe in prayer, but I believe in therapy.
Yes,
too.
ma'am.
Yeah.
So I enrolled myself in this. I signed up a year ago and didn't go. And then I remember asking God, I was like, God, you got to show me what to do. So it presented itself again, and I got this email saying, we have space available, here's all the information. So I stepped out on faith, and I did it. Okay. It was a 3-day event in Duluth, Georgia. Okay. At the time, we only had one car. So my husband took me there and dropped me off, come back and get me in 3 days. And in my time there, I says, God, I have 3 days to get my stuff together. 3 days. And we know about the third day. Okay? On that third day, I had been purging myself for the first, second, and third day. I cried. I released everything that was, held me hostage within myself, the struggles that I went through. And even in that time, I had experienced drugs, alcohol, never got addicted, but I abused it because I was trying to numb the pain, numb the feeling. Okay, I contemplated and acted upon suicide about 5 times.
Wow.
Okay. That 6th time, I was like, God, this might be my time. You might let me go this time. And I was like, I need you to deliver me from all of this baggage, from church hurt, family issues, my own personal struggles, everything it is, all of the hurt that I experienced from a child to now. I need you to wash this away from me because it held me hostage within my own self. And I remember on that third day, I says, God, I'm not leaving here until you deliver me. Okay? At 3 o'clock, this event is over. You got to do something to me today. And I meant it with every fiber of my being. And I says, God, this is it. So the facilitator, at the end, it was part Christian and part secular. Because of this experience that I went on, I know without a shadow of a doubt that spirituality and counseling, it works hand in hand. That's where I found my freedom. That's where I found deliverance.
I think that's the reason God took you through that. So now you know that they both go together.
Yes,
Yeah.
they go together. And without the prayers that went forth at this Christian secular place, and mind you, all types of people was at this boot camp. All types. It was pilots there, doctors, there were lawyers, there were police officers, there was military people,
Wow.
there were homosexuals, bisexuals, everything that you can think of was there. People tatted up, but everybody had the same thing in goal. They wanted God's help. And that was so profound that no matter what you do in life, we all had a common denominator.
We need him.
Was God.
Yes.
And just to see the flavors of every person, the reason why I call it flavor is because that's how heaven is going to look.
Yeah.
It's going to be flavorful.
Different.
All colors,
different
size,
cultures,
shapes, everything.
Yes, yes.
So that reminded me. So at the end, the facilitator, he dimmed the lights. I don't remember what music it was, but the place looked foggy, hazy. This was in a hotel, a Holiday Inn Express in Duluth, Georgia. That's why I say you don't have to be in a church to be delivered.
Yes.
So all the stigma that was embedded in me was broken in those 3 days. You don't have to be in a church to be delivered. You can be amongst all kinds of people and God will still deliver you. So God broke all of those mentality strings that was attached to my mentality, and I was holding on to it because I didn't know no better.
Yeah.
This was all learned behavior through life. So on that third day, the facilitator says, imagine your younger self sitting on the lap of Jesus. Okay? And every time that I remember this, I actually have to close my eyes and submerge myself back into the moment. Yeah. Imagine Jesus sitting in a seat dressed in white, and he's reaching his hands out to you in your younger self. So I imagine myself at the age of 7, because since 7 years old, I've been running my own business since 7. A dear friend of ours that lived down the street from my father, to this day, trusted me to take care of her kids at the age of 7.
Wow.
I was their babysitter from the age of 7 until they went off to kindergarten. Wow. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was 7. Yeah. I really didn't have a childhood. I was parenting somebody's child. To this day, both of those young men are very well off. I mean, sweet. One of them is married. I hope one day the other one gets married, but he's a sweetheart. So back to that point of sitting on God's lap, he says, imagine your younger self, and I closed my eyes, and at the age of 7, I was like, you know what, God, forgive me. Well, the facilitator says 3 things. Ask God to forgive you was the first thing. Ask God to help you forgive all those people who've hurt you. And then ask God
that's a big one.
And then ask God to forgive you and to forgive yourself. Yeah. So that process, on the last one of asking God to forgive me for everything, and even forgiving me for even not knowing. Because as a child, what do you really know? You don't know much of anything. So when I asked God to forgive me, I meant it with every fiber of my being. It just felt like something came over me. And I felt like all the shackles, everything that I prayed about, everything I wanted released, it released me in that moment. And I know I started crying. I was, just in my spirit saying, God, thank you, because I'm free.
I felt
my
amazing,
freedom.
Yes.
And to experience that in the midst of all types of people, because I didn't care who was around me. It was between me and God, and me wanting that relationship enough with him for him to take that pain away from me. Because I didn't want to try to kill myself anymore. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I didn't want to have friction in my family. I didn't want my kids to grow up seeing, this mom struggling with depression and anxiety and all other stuff. I didn't want my kids being plagued with that generational issue. I didn't want that seed to be planted in them. So it was up to me to ask God to take it away from me. So when I surrendered to God and I asked Him to take everything away from me, I didn't care. I wanted to be free. And in
Wow.
that moment, I meant it with every fiber of my being. I even asked God to forgive me for not liking Him for a minute because I felt like God shouldn't have let that happen. And then
I'm sure we've all been
we
there.
all
been
been
there.
there,
Like, I've been mad at God.
and
Yeah.
yes, to be a transparent moment here, I was mad at God for a while because I couldn't understand why those things happened. And then once I learned, um, after God delivered me from it, I released everything. All the shackles fell off of my shoulders. And here's the funny, well, it's not the funny part then, but the moment that I knew I was delivered, I felt like I was floating, which I knew I wasn't. I saw my feet on the floor, okay, but the room looked hazy, but I felt light. That was a representation that I was free from everything that I had experienced in my life.
Wow.
And that was my moment. That's when I was free from life struggling issues. And on the way home, I tell this story all the time because this is what keeps me rooted and grounded. The story that I'm about to tell right now is on my way back home. The devil tried to say, "Oh, you're not delivered. You're going to try to commit suicide again. You're going to try to do drugs again. You're going to try those painkillers and, drink yourself silly again. You're going to try it all." No, I'm not. Because I know God delivered me. And no, I'm not taking that back anymore. No. And in my spirit, I says, "God, I know you delivered me. I felt it. And I says, touch my heart and prove to me that I'm set free. I'm delivered." So the minute I prayed that prayer to God, I started feeling very sleepy and heavy, like almost like you take Benadryl, and you get that druggy feeling. I felt tired, and the closer we got to home, I felt worse. And I'm like, man, maybe I cried for 3 days. Maybe that was it. So when I got home, I got upstairs, and I never sit on my bed with my outside clothes on. Sat on the side of the bed, and my husband was like, "I'm going to get the kids something to eat. Do you want anything?" I was like, "No, I'm just really tired. I just want to take a nap." I heard the garage door go down. Within seconds, I was in sleep, like almost a deep sleep. And in that sleep, I couldn't have been asleep no more than like 30 seconds. God met me in my dream. Okay. I saw his forearm, and his hand looked like the sun. It wasn't hot. It was swirly, but I can see it. And it was almost like I'm looking at myself, looking at God's arm, but looking at myself laying on the bed.
Oh, wow.
Okay, this is the whole dream. So I'm looking, and God reaches through my chest, grabs my heart, squeezes it gently, rotate it, and when he shifted it, I was like, and I woke up gasping for air. And I went into a total praise because God met me in my dream. He confirmed to me that I was delivered.
Yes.
Arthy, from that day, I've never experienced depression, anxiety, no thoughts of wanting to take myself out again. I don't do drugs. I don't do none of that stuff. And I'm not addicted to anything, Arthy, when I could have been, because I was using it to cover up self-soothe, the pain. But God took all of that stuff away from me.
Amen.
And it set me free.
Yeah.
So when I say that you don't have to be in a church for God to deliver you, you can be amongst all types of people. God will deliver you.
Yeah.
When you mean it with your heart, mind, soul, and spirit, and every fiber of your being, God don't care who's around you. Yeah. He will meet you where you are. Yes. So from that day, I asked God to show me what to do. And I says, "God, whatever you show me what to do, allow me to have the funds to do it." I researched and found school, Liberty was it. And I says, "Well, God, I ain't got much money, so I need you to make a way." I got my student loan. The first time around with school, it was full scholarship. Okay, wow. So I never had any school debt. This is
okay.
I'm an old lady now, and now I have school debt. But God made a way, Arthy. He made a way. I went back to school, and I did the fast track, and here I am. I graduated with my master's in counseling. I do believe that was a calling God gave for me to go back and help those people. Yeah. Especially the African American community, because there's such a stigma placed on counseling, especially within the church.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
If the word says, confess your faults to one another so that you may be healed,
Healed. Yes.
why is it that we can't go to get help?
But see, that's where there's a problem because you will find that you confess your faults to. I think a lot of us are so afraid because the church was supposed to be a refuge, but you find people come there, they tell you their problems and stuff, and next thing you know, they're either looking at you funny or it's out there.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people got hurt by church folks. But one thing I realized too is that hurt people,
Mm-hmm.
and even in the church you have the Bible talks about wolves in sheep clothing.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know who you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have to be like really mindful and really careful. It's not because someone say that they're saved or they act religious that. And I know it can be a hard thing because you don't want to be in a church and then you can't trust people. But it really, I've been hurt a lot by church, and but I knew that to not. At first, it got to me because one was a time when I really 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 needed my church, and that was when I got divorced, and they acted like I had a plague. They the women that we used to hang out with, and the families didn't even call me anymore, and so I was like, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I stopped going to church because I was like, I don't want to do this, and I stopped. Do you think they didn't even come looking for me? Like say, okay, well, this is a sister, and that kind of really put a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm like, you know what? And then having children, I saw my children saw that too because they'd always say, Mom, you used to pray so much, and you always talk about the church. You do this in the church. You're always in church, and now look at us and nobody. But I never stopped serving God though, and I continue trusting God and continue believing in God. And then when we didn't have a place to stay, like we had 1 week, and this family took us in, I saw a different type of love from our church family because number one, they had not been even coming to that church very long, and they took us in not even really knowing us. And I know that was good. That was God. I was showing my children, and of course I love you. And even if it seemed like everybody turned their back on you, I because there's some things that happened, and some of that I never even talked to say anything about it. That I just felt really hurt. And when they took us in, it was such a beautiful relationship, and it there's more to the story. Well, it was a Caucasian family that took us in, and it was so beautiful living with them for 6 months. There was absolutely no problem. They knew that we had just gotten recently divorced and stuff, and they just really embraced me and loved me, and they did not act like the religious Christians that I used to be around, but they really portrayed the love of Christ. And but if I had to let the hurt that I felt in church, I would not even be in church today. And I realized that a lot of times some people, they just hurt, and I just know, what, I'm not even going to fight back. But anyway, we have to be able, like we're doing, to be able to talk openly about these things,
Right.
and let people know it's not okay. Because then I might have felt that hurt at the church, but because I was there for a long time and stuff, I may have stayed. But you have people that may just be coming, and they're expecting that embrace. They're expecting, the church to love on them, and then as soon as you just, they don't always get that. So we have to learn that, and not even judge people. That no matter what they've been through, they may have an addiction, they may have been divorced, they may be going for something. You still have to love them like Christ loved them. Not saying, what, I don't trust them. And that kind of had even make me not trust people that much. I always feel like about an ulterior motive because of what I experienced. So it's good that we can just talk about it openly, not to bash the church, but for the church to know that we need to be doing more. And especially with this pandemic thing, now that we can't even see each other all the time. Everything is online right now. We need to be even more intentional with what we do, reaching people and just letting them know that we're there for you.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely.
so we need to talk about it more,
Mm-hmm.
encourage people more, do more, because we are set apart. We have to be different from the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, someone punch you or steal from you, or do you something, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get you back.
Yep.
You know, the Bible say turn the other cheek. It might be hard to turn it, or your neck
Yes.
might hurt after you turn it, but you gotta
Absolutely.
turn it. You know, so um, life just with this show is real talk, real issues.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we're afraid to talk about things that are happening in our lives because for whatever reason, like for me, I'm like, I'm just gonna talk about it. That way you have no question. That way you, if you go talk about behind my back, I really don't care because I'll tell you what you want to know. You know,
Right.
but something that you mentioned there, and I just put a note, and I don't know how to ask a question or how we can even talk about it, but is we talk about family issues,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that is it can you can have generational curses, you can have just just bad family members. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but that usually takes a toll on people too. When you have,
Absolutely.
can you tell us anything about that? Even maybe you experiencing family issues, and I feel like I'm experiencing it now. And even if my family they're watching, yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you unless you go through it, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm just going through the process because you always feel like family should just always get along, but then you realize this person have this habit, this person is that
Mm-hmm.
person, and it can really tear a family apart. And sometimes when you see like these families are supposed to be Christian,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh, how is that? How do you even work that out? You
Right.
know?
Yeah. Well, to start that out, that's one choice we never get is to choose our family.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care how it works, you would never
And
get
we
to
can't get an
choose.
exchange. We can't get a refund. We
Exactly,
just
you're
gotta keep
there.
it.
So we have to remember that we don't get to choose who our parents are. As children, you don't get to choose your environment. You don't get to choose the people who are chosen to be around you. These people can be toxic.
Yeah.
They can be a hindrance.
Manipulative.
They can be a manipulator. They can be an abuser.
Yeah.
As a child, you're in a vulnerable state, so you don't get that choice. And some people say that why God doesn't protect these people. Here's one thing that is hard for people to understand when you try to put God in a bad category. Okay, God is a gentleman for one.
Yeah.
He doesn't force us to do anything, but yet He knows how many hairs that you have on your body. He can count them one by one.
Yeah.
So when bad things happen to us, it can stem from generational issues.
Yeah.
Okay, it can stem from your grandma, your grandpa, that's trickled down through the family, but nobody's dealt with it.
Yes.
Especially
That's
that's the
yeah.
problem. And here's the thing in the African American community is when things happen in families, we kick it under the rug. We step on it. But here's one thing that when you sweep things under the rug, which is called dirt,
That rug gonna smell soon.
the rug not only smells but dust.
Yeah.
The more you step on it, it's going to make you sick. Eventually, your immune system is going to break down. Life is the same way. When we throw dirt under the rug and you constantly step on it, you're breaking down the dirt. So every time you walk on it, or better yet, stomp on it, that unseen dust is floating in the air. And that's life. We put things under the rug and we wonder why in your older age it's all havoc. Why things are coming up.
Yeah.
Why your relationships don't last. Why, your attitude is bad. Or why you have done this to the younger child. Or why, your sexual arousal is in the wrong place. While pornography is an issue. Why your drinking habit. Issues don't just start overnight. It's a gradual process.
Yeah.
And when we don't deal with it and come to the table as family, let's talk about this. Everything you say out your mouth isn't always right. You can agree to disagree, but what is the alternative motive? Are you saying things just to make yourself look good? Or are you genuinely saying things because you want the issue to be resolved?
Yes. Yeah.
And how can we resolve it as a family?
Yeah.
Most families don't have that skill. But yet, we don't want to talk to counselors or therapists to learn that skill.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep this generational
And it's
issue,
gonna go, yeah,
this
yeah.
cycle that goes on, and you're wondering why you're reaping havoc.
But I truly believe that even in the Christian faith,
Mm-hmm.
like that it is so much better to put things on the table and deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
That way, the enemy does not have anything over you.
Yeah.
And yeah, some things may come out and it may hurt. Someone might get hurt. Someone, but then you know what? We've dealt with that, and we're not
Mm-hmm.
going to carry it on to our children and our grandchildren. So whether it's a family member that steals, that cheat, that lie, or that just think, it's best to just talk about it. Because I mean, I've heard some family members, like, they don't talk to each other for years, and they're literally upset at each other, whether it's over money or over something, and they would not talk to the. And sometimes they are Christians too, and they're not talking to their brother, their sisters. To me, there have to be a way, and well, you did say it. We need, whether it's spiritual counseling, physical, whatever counseling. We need prayer, but like you said, both of them go together, and just, I know it's easier said than done, but just say, you know what, we need to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
We need to deal with it, because even if we don't deal with it, then it's still gonna hurt someone, and maybe my child or my grandchild, and just get it over with. And but when I hear stories of families that just don't get along, I'm like, how, and then to feel like I've experienced like a little bit of it, I was like, wow, it's really, you can tell it goes back, but someone has got to put a stop in it, because then you can see even how it can affect your life. And when you become an adult, you'll be like, why is all this happening? Why am I so bitter? Why am I so angry? Why I can't get along with people? So hopefully, even on the show, that some family that may be struggling, say, you know what, hey, let's deal with stuff, and it's better it just comes out in the open, that you deal with it. Because if you don't deal with it, it's still there. It's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah.
So because I believe that God created the family so we can have unity, that we can, love on each other. But sometimes there's so much friction, and you find in just different aspects of life, and that's our goal that's one of my goals. If I can help someone, it might be one person that I can help, I will help. And I'm trying to help myself now, so y'all will have to wait. But oh Lord. So yeah, because it's just, it to me doesn't make sense that you don't deal with stuff, and it's like I said, it's not going to go anywhere. So you might end up being a bad person, but if you're the one that have to take a stand, then you're going to have to do it.
Yes.
And it's just really surprising that sometimes you even go to somebody else and they'll say, well, you know what, don't it, that's family, and maybe, you want to open that can of worms. Yeah, I'm going to open the can of worms, and every can of worm I get, I'm going to open it. That's what I have to do, because it's not going to go away. The can of worm is still going to, and then my child might have to open the can of worm. No. Mm-mm.
That's one thing that we are afraid to address is issues in family.
Yes. Why is that though?
It seems like it's been, just for talking to so many clients, the thing is disappointment. You don't want to disappoint the abuser. Being in the victim state of any traumatic event, you don't want to feel like you're going to be the person to expose. Now, here's the thing. You have two options. You have the option to hold it in and it eat you up. Okay, you end up having a mental breakdown, or your depression and anxiety can cause you to end out of this world prematurely. Or you can say, you know what? I'm tired of feeling this way when I'm around X, Y, and Z. You know what? I'm going to stand up for myself, because I no longer want that feeling of being depressed or feeling anxiety. So you have a choice. Life is a choice.
Yeah.
So you either choose freedom or choose stress. I choose freedom.
Yeah.
Reason being is, yes, I had to forgive those people who hurt me, because it's God's word. And forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you.
Yeah.
So the more you sit back and allow the negativity of other people to ruin your character, or even to ruin your inner self, or change your identity, is it worth it? It really isn't, because that's a lot of times our character is created from learned behavior of things that we've endured during our childhood and past. But little do we know what you have went through in your life doesn't define who you are to this day. And when we don't look at that and say that, you know what, I've been through hell and high waters, okay, but there's a way of escape. Talk to somebody, get some help. Okay, if you can't trust church people, that's why you need to go to a counselor. Okay, because they don't supposed to be biased. Okay, or your friends are not going to always give you the right advice because they're speaking from their own inner experience.
So they don't want to hurt you. They don't want to lose the friendship.
Exactly.
So they might just go along with you.
They just go along with you. But going along with you, is it benefiting you? Is it helping you? Sometimes we need to sit in our mess. We need to sit in that uncomfortable feeling. The reason why we need to sit in it, you need to identify what is it that make you feel that way. Once you can identify that feeling, what's causing that feeling? How can you escape that feeling? With skills.
Yeah.
That's why we go to school to be counselors, because we have the skills that work for years and years and years. Not all of them work, but that's why myself, I tailor it to fit you so that you can break free.
And it doesn't hurt to at least try. You have counselors, and I think also, even me as a parent, that is also a responsibility as well, even as our children grow, to instill values in them, but also let them know about forgiveness, about if someone hurts you. And I've always told to my children, if someone be rude to you, because there's all different types of abuse, whether it's physical or they bully you and stuff like that, I always try to get them to be open. And when they come and they open to me, that I take them seriously and not try to tell them, oh, you know what, you're just complaining too much, or just you should be able to play and stuff. No, you take everything seriously, because that way they can always come to you. Because you find it when your children feel like they can't come to you and they hide stuff, it affects them later on. And it doesn't have to always be where they were molested or stuff like that. It could be just someone that was really mean to them or told them, and it could be that they were ugly, or you were never gonna become anything or stuff like that. Because sometimes I'm listening to some adults talk on some places that I just be listening to talk, and when I hear this stuff, you can tell some of them are still hurting, and it's just stuff from their childhood that has just, even as adults, it's just like, whoa. So we cannot talk about that too much. That where if the next generation, to make sure that you instill values in your children, but you let them know, you know what, you want them. Let them know this world out there is not pretty. Sometimes you have to give them graphic pictures. You have to tell them something. You might think, well, they're too early to hear about that. My daughter, and I tell that story too, when she was 3 years old, I had to tell her about, it doesn't matter where you go, wherever, if there's a man there, you know what, they're not supposed to take you to the bathroom. You pee in your pamper or something or whatever, but and she took it like when she got to my sister's house, she just told her plain out, your husband not supposed to take me to the bathroom, not uncle. No, I was like, my sister was calling like, what did you say to the child? Like, like I shouldn't have. I said, well, this is my child. I know what happened to me. I wasn't 3 years old. I was almost an adult, I would say, and it's from my family trusting the person that they sent me by in New York, but I did not have any of those smarts. I did not know anything about stuff like that, So we have to instill those values into our children, and also being mindful of what they do, where they are. When my kids were little, I needed your password. These days, people, parents are like, I need your password. I need to see where you're going on, because I'll go check that. Well, number one, they didn't even really have computers, and I know it wasn't that long ago. I had a major one desktop in the living room. If you need to do homework or what, I'm seeing what you're doing. Right. The phones at certain time, they had to be off, because if you don't try to do that and see what they're doing, their friends you may be thinking you're teaching them all the values, but you don't know what they learn at school and stuff. So we were intentional in focusing on what they do and checking them out, because I just believe that we put these children out in the world. We need to make sure that they're okay when we put them out there. That we don't have anything to do with their brokenness, or when they get hurt, or when they get abused, or when they get bullied. That we've done as parents everything that we're supposed to do. And I know we can't be with them all the time, but I truly believe if we put it in our mind, with purpose in our heart, you know what, I'm going to raise that child in the fear of God, the way that God wants me to raise the child. I believe that that will help with some of the things that the children go through. And like I said again, for those that are adults, so grown up now, or maybe 13, 16, whatever the age is, and someone has done something to you, whether it's verbal, you have to speak about it. Even if it could be a boss that is being rude to you, it doesn't matter. If it's hurting you, then you have to talk about it to deal with it, because it can only make things worse. And oh wow, man, we only in question number 4. What time is it? Oh wow, our time has come and gone. Let's see. So you did talk about your why you went to school, and just helping people and stuff like that. But what keeps you going, and what gives you the greatest fulfillment in your chosen field?
What gives me fulfillment, and I paraphrase a lot. That's what we're talking about. School. Good. Okay. Walking in my gift. The reason being is because I asked God what to do, and now I'm trusting the process for Him to show me what to do. I'm a person that I've learned the true definition of faith, and I've learned how to use faith. And by me doing that, it's enlightened my freedom. Walking in God's grace and humility is not as hard as the picture has been painted. When you know who you are, how you are, and you don't allow what people say against you to bring you down, you get further.
Yeah, because you've experienced that kind of hurt, and look at where you are today.
Yes.
God, yes.
So pain can take you 2 places. It can take you into depression or anxiety, or it can allow you to rise to the top. I've experienced both. My pain has allowed me to get to where I am today, and nobody on the face of this earth will ever get to take me back to that place ever again. Why? Because I know who delivered me.
Yes.
It was Jesus alone. And I stand firm on that. And because God met me through my dream, it confirmed to me. That is what I hold on to, Arthy. No words from any human's mouth can take me from that place. Until God tell me this ain't the way, I'm going to trust Him until He tells me otherwise. And this journey has allowed me to touch the hearts of a lot of people. God has blessed me to bring marriages back together, people to bring themselves back to Christ. It's because I'm trying to do it God's way. With the professional education to get them there. Because I was hurt so bad through life, my desire was to never be that person. If I'm going to help someone, I'm going to give them the skills so that when they come out, they stay out. I don't want to be that person to just tell you what you want to hear, to self-soothe yourself, and you end up in the same predicament. I want you to experience freedom.
Yes.
Freedom is for everybody. Happiness is real, but you have to desire it.
Yes, you have to go for it.
You have to go for it. It's persistence, consistency, and being around those people who are going to lift you up, not beat you down. And it doesn't matter if it's family. We have to separate ourselves from negativity.
Yes.
And again, we don't get to choose family, but you get to choose if you want to stay amongst the negativity or if you want to stay with the positive. I choose positivity.
Yes.
Because the negative side of life, exactly. Sometimes you just got to walk away. But yet be true to yourself and vulnerable to that place to be open about it. No, I don't want to be around you because your attitude is bad. I don't want to be around you because you give off the wrong image.
That's a good point, because I think sometimes that's what we do. We'll pull away, but we don't have the strength to tell someone, this is why I'm pulling away from you. This is what you do that I don't like.
Absolutely. And I've been in situations wherein I've given people the benefit of the doubt. My husband has always said, you know what, that person wants something out of you. No, I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt, and before you know
That's
it,
what her daughter will stop me.
I get bit in the
Stop
butt.
listening to them.
But little do you know, God will. I have this connection with God, and this is where the relationship with God come from. It increases your discernment. People can say all kinds of stuff about me, but God downloads it in my spirit of what you said about me, and then it shows me how to handle you.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna let you know what I know, but you can feel it because I can feel your demeanor towards me.
Yeah.
That's spiritual discernment.
Yeah.
God doesn't. He doesn't allow. Let me say this. God only trusts His gift to people who know how to use it. He gives it to everybody. Some people use it recklessly because it harms people. But if you truly want to help people, God will give you that heightened discernment so that you help people and not harm them. And sometimes people look at me, how do you know that? Sometimes my clients are like, are you psychic? No, I don't do psychic. That's not of God. It's like, well, how do you know that? I was like, because I pray. It's discernment. I said, so you have a choice now. Do you want freedom? Yes. Well, I'll lay out the formula for you. I'm not going to make you do anything. I'm not going to push you to do anything. You have to want it. And that's the love of Christ. That's why I said God is a gentleman, because He's not going to force us to do anything. He will sit back with His arms crossed until you make the decision to try Him. The word says, oh, taste and see, for He is good. So when God is always ready for us, but we're not always ready for God. And He understands that. And here's the thing, that I want the world to know that God doesn't want you perfect. He doesn't want you perfect in order for you to trust Him. He wants you a little bit messy. The reason being is because you have to ask Him to help you to be as perfect as you can. Because if you was perfect, holy rollers think they're perfect. That's why a lot of times they don't experience freedom like they really should, is because they can't get out of their own way.
True.
Get out of your way. God sees it before you do. Chill, relax.
Yeah.
Put your guards down.
Do it. Yeah.
So until we strengthen that relationship with God and take yourself out of it, let God do the rest for you. Because you can't see your future anyway. You only know what you want.
And what you want might not even be what He wants for you.
It might not be in His will for
Many
you.
times it's not good.
But if you have faith enough, He'll give it to you, and then you can be like, oh, God, I don't want it. He'll give you. He dwell on the just as well as the unjust.
Yeah.
So if you ask hard enough and believe it, you might not want what you ask for. But if you're walking in God's will, He will bless you abundantly.
Yes.
And I am a miracle of that, because I don't work on my own intuition anymore. I says, God, wherever you want me to go, I'll follow. But until you tell me, I'm not moving. I need to hear you say this to me. And then when I do make that move, God blesses me abundantly.
Amen.
So for that, I don't move by people anymore.
That's a blessing. That's a blessing.
It took a while.
Wow. Again, that's where you are. That's why He's using your experiences. So a lot of times, we don't like to go for certain experiences, but we say, God, I want you to use me, but you never know what you have to go through, to get to where He wants you. So in family settings, there are many things that can trigger mental and emotional distress. Divorce creates a brokenness in families. Many children, as well as spouses, suffer mentally and emotionally, and that's just one of them that we mentioned. How do you just advise someone that go through a challenge, in a family and stuff like that, whether it's through divorce or just they lost a job or something that really affects the family, and and it's, I think last month was just like mental awareness month, and I think just talking about it just for a month is not enough. I think it's something that needs to be, constantly, not constantly like every day, but at least be talked about more. More should be done about because it's that emotional and mental distress that people go through. It's like daily,
Yes.
you know. So can you just talk to us a little bit more on that? You know, some of the things that can
Hmm.
trigger that.
Well, with mental health, for one, people have to learn that the word, the two words mental health is not a cuss word, for one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
first and foremost. It seems like when we hear the word mental health, we always think of, someone who is psychotic, or someone
Yeah.
who is as they will call it, the loony bin.
Yeah.
It's not always that. That's a different category.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health should be looked at on the same level as you get in the physical. Okay, if your physical health isn't okay, maybe your mental health isn't okay too. Okay, if your mental health isn't intact, which is the top of the body, which is the brain. That's where mental health starts, at the way you think, how you think about things. Okay, let's take this example. If you have maybe like this 3-year-old child who is being raised in this atmosphere, maybe the mom and dad, excuse me, hard life, drugs, alcohol, got all types of stuff coming in and out of the house. This child sees this and they think it's normal. So as they get older, this is what they look for. This is what they gravitate to, because it seems normal to that child. Until someone on the outside looks in, enlightens that child as they get older, that's not normal life. But what seems normal to one person is abnormal to the next.
Yeah.
So that's that same cycle that goes around with all households. You have households that kids are loved, they're cared for, they're very into a child's education. But you look at that next child, they don't get that. Maybe they were raised in a single family home. Maybe the mom worked 4 or 5 jobs just to keep food on the table. Couldn't afford a babysitter, so you got to watch yourself. Meanwhile, you're not being governed. So the picture I'm painting here is there's an issue with mental health started at that age. Loneliness, for one.
Yeah.
That three, right? Loneliness, abandonment, abuse. All of these things start at early age. It's simple as verbal abuse that kids can go through. And I hear sometimes a lot of parents curse at their kids when they're younger. Sometimes that creates mental issues in a child.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
The way you discipline a child can cause them. How you discipline that child can cause mental issues. Okay? Not being able to allow a child to express themselves verbally can cause mental issues in life. Okay? Being raised in an extremely strict home can cause a child to have mental issues. And that number one prevalent thing is insecurities. A lot of kids deal with insecurity. And that's why in this day and time, we really have to listen to our teenagers. We really have to listen to our adolescent kids. Statistics prove that kids commit suicide just as equivalent as adults.
Yeah.
Because of what they go through in their households. Parents, pay attention to your child. The internet is vicious these days. And here's the thing. The internet is set up so horrific. It has tag words, so that any words that you're using, the algorithm collects it. And if you notice, even with Facebook, certain pages you maybe go on, it shows the same thing over and over again.
So when you're thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm thinking about a pair of shoes, and next thing I was like, okay, you need to buy that shoe.
Yes.
I was like, what?
If you're
maybe it's a sign from God.
Exactly. If you're Googling things, the same thing will come up. So here's the thing. If your young child is home unattended, and this goes for adults too, they search one word, kissing. That same thing is going to come up with kissing, and before you know it, it's sexual content. The minute that child sees erotic behavior of sexual content, that's the first demonic beast that has captured your child. And that beast takes that child through life, and before you know it, they're addicted to pornography. And before you know it, their hormones are popping off. You're looking at things you shouldn't be, and then you're putting someone else in jeopardy, because now you've created this role where now you're either the victim or the defendant. Which one? Okay, so now you are putting someone else's life in jeopardy
Yes,
because
yeah.
of your own demons.
Mm.
So we have to learn that what we allow in our spirit pretty much makes it your character. So we have to be careful what we allow in us, what you allow your child to see and be a part of, because that is the number one thing that's plaguing this earth today is sexual encounters. Because it makes you feel good. It makes you, it takes you out of that zone for a minute. And if you got that with substance abuse and all other stuff, you're not in your right mind. And before you know it, it creates mental issues. So mental issues starts as early as a child.
I believe a lot of it starts.
It starts as a child. And if it's not dealt with as you get older, it's like having a backpack on your back. You're putting the stone in it every single day. Before you know it, how can you walk with it when you have so much baggage? That's where mental health starts from, childhood. And sometimes it can escalate. One of your questions asked about divorce. Divorce is almost like a grieving state because you experience a loss. Most people don't understand that grieving is not just losing a loved one by death.
Yep.
You can lose it by a job, relationship, as you said, divorce, sudden loss of anything, COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of people are grieving due to COVID.
Yeah.
COVID not only took lives, but it took finances, it took houses, it took cars, it took people integrity. It created a beast in a lot of people. It has caused racism to come out, to be exposed because it's already been there. So mental health spirals down to a lot of things. And before you know it, it has come to fruition because it's been there all along. So now, how do we deal with it? Open your mouth and talk about it.
Yeah.
Call up that counselor, talk to that counselor. Not your best friend, because they know not as much as you know. Okay?
That's the thing that
the
a lot
blind
of
leads
their
the
friend
blind.
tell their friend, and the friend of
Your friend can't help you for one because they're struggling with what they have. Not saying that everything that they has to say won't help you, but those deep-rooted, seated issues, you need a professional to help you.
Yeah. And I think there's so much more people that are hurting with mental illness than we realize. And a lot of it is because no one says anything.
Yes.
And they just, and even as parents, some parents just think, you know what, I can fix it, or I can, if I just, or they just don't even acknowledge it and stuff like that. If you notice it even when the child is young, and I think you take charge of it right away, because I think sometimes too it starts even as maybe it can be, and then my husband might be able to talk about that more, like even an imbalance. It could be an imbalance in your system as well, and it could be sometimes they could be bullied at school, and you have to watch for the signs. We have to be really intentional with our children. Like I used to work, my ex-husband used to work, but I wanted to make sure that my children were okay. When I make sure I ask them questions when they come home. If there's anything in school, I would find a way to get to the school to make sure that they're not being bullied. And when a problem arises, we would address it right away. Because my children went through stuff in school, and then even when my son today told me, because then I think one of the teachers said that he had ADHD or something like that. And I did not believe it. I cast that demon out or whatever. But I realized there was some areas in their life where not that I should have go and just put them on medication and stuff, but acknowledge that, okay, you know what? Let me just look into that, because now you look back, and when your kid is telling you, well, you know what, if you had helped me with this, then maybe I would not be, whatever little the deficiency that they may think it could be better. It's our duty to even as Christians, because there's a reason why God gave us doctors and psychologists, and when you're thirsty, don't just say, well, you know what, I'm not gonna drink water, I'm not gonna eat because I can just pray myself and then I'll be okay. No, you go cook some food, you put the food in your system. So we have to learn that the doctors are there for a reason. Yes, we'll pray and we'll continue to pray, but again, and even when you go to the doctor, they may tell you, you know what, this is what is going on, and then you would have a better reason to pray, like, you know, we know exactly what is going on, so let us. This is what we're going to pray, but instead of just being general, you know. So we, and again, in the Black community, we really have to take this thing seriously, because when we, even the parents, and I put it on the parents, because when we don't take it seriously, we don't address it, we put this little humans, they grow up, and they have to go out into the world, and now they're suffering, they're hurting, and it's not fair, because I think a lot of them, if they had gotten help at an early age, whether it's through medication or whatever, however, or even if when they get diagnosed, you'll be like, you know what? Well, I know this is what the problem is. So yeah, I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna fast, because I believe in prayer and fasting too. I'm gonna do everything that I can. But to just sweep it under the rug, like, oh, you know, they're just troublesome and there's nothing wrong, and then just leave it, and then no, that's not fair to the kids.
Exactly.
You know,
It comes out later in their adult life.
yeah, and I mean, I've seen it around me, and even if I work with different young people, I've been around them, like, I mean, pretty much my whole life. Like you said, you started working at 7. You know, me too, very, very young, and just you see the hurt and the pain, and sometimes it doesn't mean that they are being sexually abused. It could be verbal, and like you said, it could be even from parents that did not know better, by calling them names, calling them other names, or making or favoring one child over another. You know, I think something I was watching this week, and it's funny how things just come back to you, because I think we bury a lot of stuff, and that's what kids do too. And I remember it's almost like I had a memory of why I did not really like myself when I was young, because I felt, and they actually, someone said it, and I know my friend, they've said it, because I was the darkest one. So it's almost like I didn't belong to them, but I felt that this week, and I was like, wow, that was something that had really bothered me, because everybody else looked like they were mixed, and I looked like I was mixed with black. You know, and I really felt, even as a young girl growing up, that I did not like my skin color. I did not like being so black, and it had affected me. I didn't realize, you know, I just buried it, and when I was looking at something, or something came back, I was like, oh wow, that used to be a problem for me when I was small. And I remember they used to call me a name that means, like, I think it's called penguin, which is like a black pot. That's what, I don't know, maybe I'm not good with the Creole or something like that, but you know, that was in me, that word, them, and maybe something that wasn't malicious. And they would call me Blackie, like they would always make it like you're the blackest one and stuff like that. And I didn't realize how much that had caused some havoc on my self-esteem too. You know, so we have to be really careful what we say to our kids. And when my kids were growing up, I only spoke words. My kids never say that I ever call them one word out of them, one bad word or one negative, not even a negative word. It was, and even if I wanted to, maybe I might be saying it in my heart, but I didn't bring it out, you know, and that's what we have to be. And some of my favorite was intentional, because that's a powerful word. This is what I intend to do. This is what I'm going to do. Not that way I intend to do it, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm purposing in my heart, I'm going to do it. And when it comes to the children, and you know, maybe someone, they might be listening today, that it's our duty to raise the children. Pay closer attention to your children, and don't just wait till, you know, they grow up and then they become serial killers or whatever, and say, oh, I did see a sign. Every sign that you see, take it seriously. You know, and if they come to you and even say they had a dream, take them seriously.
Right. And listen to them. Put the phones down and just listen to your child. Be in the moment. Even just, you know, relationships. Just be in the moment.
Spend time with them. Yep. Ooh. Okay. I think we may have kind of answered this one, but I should say, when we think of mental health and mental health counselors, we may think of persons who are intellectually disabled, disordered, and the likes. How widespread is mental health challenges? And yeah, so most of people just think it's just like we said before, it's just like crazy people, like they local or stuff, but it's a lot more to it than just that, right?
Yes, it's a lot more to it. Even when you look at the news, I believe there was a young tennis player, I believe, that had to pretty much take a quit because of her mental health.
Wow.
We really have to take mental health a lot seriously. Even I may pronounce her name wrong, Tajari.
Yeah,
the celebrity.
Yep.
She's an advocate for mental health.
Yes.
There is a lot of celebrities who are struggling. You even having pastors who are committing suicide because of mental health issues. You have children committing suicide because of mental health issues. When mental health can be so strenuous on the body that it causes you to freeze up and not talk about it. A person who will commit suicide would never tell you they're doing it. They won't tell you. It's an act, because if they tell someone, they might stop them. So in our profession, we have to assess the person and ask them suicidal questions just to make sure.
That did not.
We'll put the suicidal hotline on here, but if anyone is experiencing that, call that suicide hotline.
Yes. Yeah,
and
we'll
get
put
help.
That number, we'll put it on, yeah.
Because it's serious. People are taking their lives because they want to free themselves from the pain. Yeah. Okay? People are struggling. And, when you hear with the racism, when you hear people just being real ridiculous with just being mean, that person probably is already experiencing something, and that one little thing you say
yes,
will cause them to end their life prematurely. Like, we don't have to be evil people. We don't have to be obnoxious people. Yeah. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Life is a choice. Everything we do and say is a choice. Yeah. That choice, if it's going to hurt someone else, don't do it. If it's going to help that person, maybe do it. Yeah. But everything we do in life is merely a choice. Make the conscious effort that if I can help somebody, help them. If I can't, use resources. All counseling is not expensive. Yes, some are. And not only am I a counselor, I'm also a life coach. So you get best of both worlds.
Yeah.
I get to help you challenge that past and come, get through that past, and now you're a better version of yourself. And now I help you and give you skills on how to get through life.
Yes.
And not repeat those cycles. And my goal is to help people break generational curses so that you can be free.
Yes.
I love the word freedom. Freedom and happiness is a choice and a desire.
Yeah. And then that's something that people have to seek for themselves. But before we even close, and we have to talk about your new business real quick too, but I was just sitting there thinking, what about maybe adults that may have mental illness and don't even realize? How would they even recognize it? Because sometimes they'll just be like, oh, well, they depressed, and, they just push it off as, oh, maybe I'm just going through a bad day, I'm just depressed or stuff like that. How do they even?
Well, yeah, it is a bad day, but what's caused that bad day? Are you grumpy all the time? Okay. Are you just irritated by everything somebody says? Are you snappy? Are you worrying about finances? Okay. These are things that you can let you know that if you're struggling. Finances. You don't have that boyfriend or that wife or that girlfriend you desire. You feel lonely.
Yeah.
Loneliness.
Yeah.
Okay. Grief over losing. Your kids acting out. You get a lot of people who self-soothe. And what I mean by that is they go through so much in life, they self-soothe on all the wrong things. They self-soothe enough to make them feel good in the moment. That's why a lot of people gear towards alcohol so much. You have undercover alcoholics.
Okay? Undercover. How many drinks is that? I hope I'm not one of them.
Undercover alcoholics. And here's the thing. It's
I just making sure that
incognito.
on the cover, yeah.
Listen, it's incognito.
Okay.
Okay.
This is water for real.
You know, but they self-soothe.
Yeah.
And because you don't have other skills. And it's not point in blaming that person, it's because you probably just don't know what else to do.
True.
Alcohol
Yeah.
is so easy to go to. Marijuana is so easy to go to. You feel good in
Yeah.
the moment, you numb the pain. But when you notice that it is can be possibly a mental illness, how much are you using it? Are you only using it when you're feeling down? If you're socially, that's not so much of a bad thing. But are you using it because you had a bad day today? You know you're going to have a bad day tomorrow, so you're going to drink tomorrow. Or whatever, you just drinking a six-pack every single day, gouging down. What are you drinking for? Are you drinking it because it tastes
Cover
good?
the pain. Yeah, exactly.
You're covering up the pain. And only because it's an easy, quick fix for most people. It's easy. You can go to any store and buy any type of alcohol. It's easy. Even underage kids are finding a way to get it. Because they're learning how to cover their pain up at an early age instead of the services of people learning how to cope with it. And here's the thing. If counseling was put in schools as little as daycare, we wouldn't have the issues we have in this world today. Counseling should be presented to children at an early age. The reason being, you can catch things early.
Yeah. And even when the parents don't catch
Exactly.
it, then, yeah.
I used to work in the daycare. I used to have my own, child care services. And a lot of the kids, not all, but some had attitude issues. I could do more with that child than that parent could. And that parent would bring them back. Miss Sophia, how do you get my child to do that? Their child. I love on them. And I tell them, no, you're not going to do that. And I'm the parent. Excuse me, I'm the adult. That's it. And kids want to be chastised, and that's the thing. But if we don't know how to chastise ourselves, how can we teach our child? Yeah. If adults don't even know how to keep their attitudes at bay, how can you teach your child? If you flip off on every little thing that happens in life and your child see it, what do you expect? And then you get this call from a police officer later because your child been arrested. What did you do? Where did they learn that from?
And they're watching you. They're really watching you.
Kids are like sponges.
Sure. I had an incident that happened, and I'm just gonna put my secret out there, but it's okay. And when we were in Ohio, so like as Christians, we don't wear short shorts, but I like my short shorts. I wear it in my home, but I didn't even leave the room, go, because I didn't want my daughter to see it. And then one day she was putting on one. I was like, this is way too short. You know when she's like, what you wearing? I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, yeah, I saw you in the room. I was like, what? So they watch, they see what we do, and then they try to imitate what we do. So then that's another thing. We have to be very careful what they see, because then that's another thing that can mess their psyche up. Like, okay, you tell me don't do this. You're always doing this and that, but something is not right here. And again, I just always go back and I put the responsibility, and some parents might not like me for that. I put some of the responsibility on us, that it is our duty. And even if there may be medical imbalances or some other imbalances that we need to find out, but still we will see the signs before we have to even take them to the doctor. Absolutely. And then when the doctor tells you that there's something wrong or they need to go on medication, I'm not saying just rush and put it under them. You want to get a second opinion, but take this doctor serious, and don't just say that, what, I'm just going to just maybe deal with it, whatever. Because, we work, my husband and I, well, I'm not working there now, but we work at a crisis center. And some of these kids that you see, that not even kids, grown-ups, that come there, you can tell like some of them had not gotten care, and they've been ill for years. And it's only when it really get out of hand, that's when, now the police is involved, the state is involved. That's when they're like 35, or some 20, some 19, from 40. And I'm like, whoa. And then I was like, well, those behaviors were there for a while. And, so it's something that's real serious, that we have to take it serious and not be ashamed that, about mental illness. When I worked, well, I'm not going to say the hospital where I worked because I might get in trouble, but when I worked at a prestigious hospital, because I was in nursing school and I wanted to do psych, One of the patient came and he's like, and they didn't know that I wasn't a nurse yet, but it was a nurse. Isn't this such and such a person? And then the doctors were there and they're like, no, no, it's not. You know, making that person think that they're crazy, that they didn't see. It was another psychologist that was in the crazy house. You know, so I'm saying that it can happen to just anybody. And he got overwhelmed with everything that was going on, and then we had another politician there too, and things can get overwhelmed where they end up maybe not even following the signs until it gets too late, and they try something crazy and end up in there. So, before you give your closing remarks, tell us about your new business, and I'm really proud of you. Congratulations. Tell our viewers about your new business and what it is that you're doing, and you registered LLC. Yes. So talk to us about it.
Well, of course, I love the word freedom.
Freedom, yes.
Okay? Yes. So the name of my life coaching and counseling business is called Freedom Zone. Okay, yes. And the reason why I chose Freedom Zone is because I want people to feel in a safe place where they can experience freedom. And in this safe place, you are free to be who you are. Yes. Doesn't matter who you are, what color, I don't care. I know that I am experiencing happiness and freedom, and I want to share it and teach the next person. Yes. It was a desire that I had to have. It was persistence and consistency on my part. That's why I am experiencing freedom. And in the midst of experiencing my freedom, people are not going to like me. I really had to let go of religion, Arthy. I really had to let it go because it didn't, practicing religion and the strenuous rules that it had took away my identity, my character, and I was created by something that normancy taught me. I had to break free of that. Yes. When I broke free from that, I'm telling you, my relationship with my husband is phenomenal. Because now we use the skills that I learned. Communication, loving each other, understanding that we're not going to see eye to eye all the time. But you know what? I'm not your enemy. You're not my enemy. Yeah. And when we learn to focus on ourselves, it promoted freedom. So my business is called Freedom Zone for a reason. I'm licensed in the state of Georgia. I have an LLC. Yes. I can be reached at, I forgot my own number, 678-632-1043. I have not set up my website just yet because I want people, I want it to be word of mouth instead of publicized at this point because I want people to get the true finesse of the experience. Yeah. I don't judge anybody.
That's true. Yeah.
I want that person to feel embraced. And here's the thing. It doesn't take long to experience freedom. I have clients out there now who constantly contacting me saying, you know what, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I'm saying, don't thank me, thank God. Because they made the commitment to use the skills that I give them backed with prayer and increasing that relationship with Christ, and now they're experiencing freedom. And it doesn't take that long. And I have programs I put you in. One is the happiness program, and then I have one for couples and relationships. So I'm looking to get those on the road soon to help
couples
people.
One night. I know that some people really need that. Just with. Because a lot of couples are struggling, and I know that's something that's really been on your heart too, even like on our heart too, to work with couples, and because if we can, get that in the home even before things get worse, I think that is something that's really needed. So,
so I think maybe a couples intensive that we both can work on to get couples in, because a lot of people are crying out for help.
Yes,
and I want to be able to help them authentically, and just know that we're here to help.
That's right. Not to harm. So because all these things, it affects the whole family. Another thing is, when even as whether it's you talking to someone personal, we're talking to our viewers though too, and whether it could maybe like for parents that our children we can encourage them, say, you know what, this is what I would like for you in life, or this is you can encourage them, but don't try to put stuff on them, and make them feel so fearful that they're trying to please their parent. and then they're struggling because I'm experiencing it with someone right now, and it's just like, you know what, this is what everybody wants from me. This is what everybody wants me to do, and it's like a really battle. And I was like, whoa, this is huge, and it's coming from what the parents put on them that make the child feel that they cannot even have an identity of their own. But it's like, you know what, I want a new identity. I was like, so we really have to pay a lot more attention to our children. And I'm gonna let you give your closing remarks, and just take it away.
I'd just like to say thank you for inviting me back to the show.
My
it's always
pleasure.
an honor and a privilege to be on here.
We only got to 5 questions.
We only got to 5
we
questions.
Got 18.
Yes. So that means we might have to do another segment.
I just keep bringing you back.
Yes. But it's always a privilege and an honor. As you know, mental health is my passion now. Helping people is a greater passion. And to just let people know that God isn't that person who we painted that picture to be. He's love. He's kind. He's gentle. And he just wants the best for us. But yet, he wants us to come to him. And he's not going to force anything on us. But how do we get there? One step at a time. So, to all of the viewers and everybody who's watched, I hope that we said something to be able to help you.
Yes.
Reach out to me. I'm good at what I do because I trust God. There's, testimonies of people being blessed, by the God-given gift that he's given me. And I just want to see everybody walk into their newness, walk into that person you were already meant to be, but you just didn't know how to get there. Even if it's opening that business, stepping out on faith, meeting that person, who you predestined to be with, bring him to me. If you're not sure that's the person you want to be with, I'll talk to him and see if it's a match, If it means that, you don't want to repeat the cycles that you've been going through, I'm here to help. And here's the thing, as a life coach, I get to help people all over the world. As a counselor, I only can help people in the state of Georgia. So that's the only limitation that I have as far as counseling. But when you get me as a coach, you get the best of both worlds. I hold nothing back. When I tell you I give you 200% of what it is that you're looking for, I would be a life coach for life. But my desire is to help the African American community first and foremost, because we struggle with so much that most people don't understand.
Yeah.
We sweep a lot of things under the rug that we shouldn't, and we're torn inside, but we look pretty outside. How can we be pretty on the inside and be gorgeous on the outside? It has to be equivalent. So as much makeup as we can wear, as many wigs as we can wear, as much as hair as I can cut off, what does that internal look like? What does that heart look like? What are your struggles that you're going through? It all starts with a simple conversation with someone that you trust, someone that you know that has your best interest at heart. Reach out to me. I'm here to support you. If I can't say anything to help you, I'm definitely not going to harm you. So again, Arthy, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I love talking about mental health. I love helping people find freedom.
Yes.
Because freedom is a choice. You have to desire it. And just know that your past does not define who you are today.
You might just be training ground for who.
Yes. So,
wow.
Thank you.
But you're welcome, my dear. And I want to read something real quick. It say, according to the Health and Human Service Office of Minority Health, Black adults in the U.S. are more likely than white adults to report persistent symptoms of emotional distress, such as sadness, hopelessness, and feeling like everything is an effort. Black adults living below the poverty line are more than twice as likely to report serious psychological distress than those with more financial security. Despite the needs, only 1 in 3 Black adults who need mental health care receive it, according to the American Psychiatric Association. The mental health fact for African Americans, guys, they are also less likely to receive guidelines, consistent care, less frequently included in research, more likely to use emergency room or primary care rather than the mental health specialists. Wow.
Yeah.
We have to, and that's why, professionals like you, and even have my friend in Ohio as well. And God is just opening this door of different professionals where we can really help our community.
Yes.
And I feel like it's twofold. It's the Black community, but it's also the Christian community.
Yes.
One thing I want to say too is that for anyone out there, that don't wait till it gets to a point where it's really bad, and don't think that I don't need help. It's just reach out, just find out. It doesn't hurt. And I'm not ashamed to say we talked to Sophia. She's come to right here and sat down and talked with us, because even if you feel like you might not be having a lot of problems, just to keep stuff balanced and to have a more fulfilling relationship, because there may be some things that you may be missing, and you may be thinking like, what, my relationship is perfect and we're having a really good life. It's you may be missing a lot, and even as you go, you learn through what is being taught, or the courses that you allow your clients to go through. We can actually use that to help somebody else. So I truly believe, don't wait till you things are getting out of hand, especially couples. I'm talking to couples because I know that's really dear to my heart. That there is help, and like you said, there's freedom. But if you don't go for the help, then you're not gonna get it. So, woo, that was loaded. It's always such a pleasure to have it. I just want to thank you for coming here and just being open, to be here. And I know because we didn't have a lot of time to even, plan for that. I know you're super busy, so I just want to thank you, and I just want to thank all our listeners. And I just want to make a couple quick announcements. We are, I think, what's the date? June the 23rd, right here. We're going to have finally have our ribbon cutting for our television show. Right now, it's registered in the state of Georgia, and we actually have a proclamation that is now a station in the city of Fayetteville. Nice. We have a proclamation for that, yes. And we are going to have a launching the first Caribbean group in Fayetteville as well. And sorry that this is invitation alone, but I'm still telling that to you guys so you guys can know about it. That once we start having meetings and all that stuff, you can be a part of it. So, and we have our first fashion and music video awards, and that's going to be July 31st, and it's amazing. Yes, thank you. We're going to be giving out awards to just different genres of music and fashion and hairstylists, makeup artists. I truly believe in honoring people before they're dead, or even when people are doing good work, that we can say, hey, we want to honor, we want the world to know that, this is someone they're doing good work. Yes. And we have humanitarian efforts, trophies that we're going to be giving out. And they're going to be the really nice ones. So it's not just going to be like paper or cardboard stuff. No, it's going to be the real thing. And I just love to honor people. I love to encourage and empower people. So that's July 31st. And the good thing about it is it's going to be, I have a So Arise TV in Antigua, so they're gonna be doing part of it. They're doing the music part, and they have done. My friend Stancha over there in Antigua, thank you, shout out to you. She this year in October is gonna be her 7th award show, so she's very successful, and I actually got nominated for 2 of those awards. Imagine Me TV got nominated for that, and then I got nominated as a talk show host. So. We do all of this, even that start our business and stuff, so we can empower others, because it was not easy, and both of us have been through a lot, but here we are today. Because we stand on the word of God. We did not just we stand on the word of God, but we took the practical steps that we have to take. We pray, we fast, but then if we had to get educated or training or whatever, we did that too. So I just want to say thank you once again, and thanks to my wonderful guests. You did an awesome job. This is Imagine Me TV, and I just want to say good night. Have a fabulous week.